Okay, perfect. Okay, so a couple questions for you. So first one, just help the audience out. Tell us what your project was about, big picture.
Okay, so my project was just investigating the relationship between academic achievement, school climate, and parenting style. So, like, I mean, I found like a lot of articles on maybe just comparing two of them, but not really many on all three as a whole. And it just seemed uh, interesting for me to look into.
Cool. So then tell me a little bit about how you managed to do it. So what kind of experiment was it? What did you have people do?
Okay, so there were two surveys I had given out. I actually worked along with Chanel, so I guess three, but two of them were personally for me. And so one question was uh, a parental authority questionnaire. So the students answer questions that basically based on information that would tell you what parenting style their parent fell into. So it would either they'd be authoritative, authoritarian, permissive, and then the other one is a school climate questionnaire. So it just would determine how they view the school climate. And so taking those, I place students into different categories and ran a few tests on them. Um,
So what were the really big findings? So if you were to simplify it down for us, what are the one or two big takeaways you found?
that permissive parenting is for sure a negative. Students tended to have worse GPAs when they have permissive parenting. Um, Also, authoritarian is positive. So the more authoritarian the parent was, the the higher chances they had to have a greater GPA.
Was that a surprising finding to you?
It was at first because from most of the experiments that I looked at, authoritative was the positive one that should have made GPAs go up the most. But um, then after like looking into more, it seemed to be a cultural thing. So like authoritative parenting was positive in all of the places that were pretty much mostly white schools, um, working class, and then when it came to anything that was like more mixed, I guess it was like in New York, there was a Hispanic black area, and like authoritarian was positive. Also in Asian cultures, authoritarian was positive. So it just seemed on based on whatever your culture's preferred parenting style, that was the better one.
Hmm. Okay. So what do you think makes your project so important or so useful, either in general or to TNA?
Um, well, in general, I find it important because of the lack of studies comparing all three. Because I feel like they pretty much go hand in hand a little. If you only look at two, it kind of ignores a side of it. But for TNA, I say because I say TNA's goal pretty much is to balance out the effects of bad parenting. So with doing a project like this, maybe the results could have been beneficial to the school and maybe how it operates.
Okay. So if you now just think back for the whole year about the senior seminar process in general, sort of the project and the things you were asked to do, how do you think it's changed you? Good way, bad way, any way you want to think about it. How would you say senior seminar has changed you as a student?
I say it has made me able to apply more than one skill, I guess, that I've learned because I feel like we pick up a lot at TNA, but like senior sem forces you to use it all like at once. So like we do research, but we're also having like discussions as a group and like one-on-one conversations. Um, you have to. It's like a process to finding out the process of how you're going to do your project. So it's like it's just like a lot of thinking going on, and then like when it comes to like how you're being graded, it's not just someone looking at your work and giving you a grade. You got to talk about it, like why you're getting the grade. You understand why you're getting it, and then you even get graded on the discussion you have. So it's just like if
Mhm.
I can force
Okay.
you to use a lot of skills.
Okay. So do you think that that process has changed you in terms of your preparation for college or just in life in general?
Um, yeah, I think it's prepared me well to like have more professional discussions. I'll say, yeah, I say I know probably gonna have to have a lot of those.
Hmm. Yeah, fair enough. Now, so last question for you. Reflect back to your years at TNA in general.
Hmm.
So, what or whom would you attribute your success? You're about to graduate, move on to the next phase of your life, and for every measure that we can think about, you are a successful TNA graduate. Um, what do you think? Do you owe that success to? It could be more than one thing.
Um, I guess I'll say everyone in the authority position. I mean, like one, I've learned from a lot of people. Two, is pretty couple moments I may not have been able to stay at the school, but I was allowed, so grateful for that. Um, Also, I'll say like the classes we had, just like the school as a whole, really.
Hmm.
They're just some classes that we've had and that we've taken that I've noticed like a lot of other people, other schools have not. Um, so I would say like the school itself was responsible for my success at the school.
So the school climate, if you will.
Yeah.
Making that connection to your own project. So do you see then, so what do you see as TNA's biggest influence on you? Is it influence on you as a person, you and your skills, you and your friends? How would you describe TNA's influence?
Um, I'll say like the biggest influence was that authoritarian type style of I won't say parenting, but schooling, I guess.
Hmm.
Like I mean, when I started, we were there 12 hours a day. So it was kind of like we were at home. We had like 3 meals a day. We had snack, and like with the requirement of one sport, um, your classes like it wasn't like you get to choose. Like we have set classes that we're all gonna take. So like, and I feel like it forces you to like realize your own potential and to like
Hmm.
actually like tap into it. It's like a lot of that you hear at the schools. Like everyone's like, we know you're better than that, so you need to do better than what you're doing. So, and I feel like you don't get that in a more free space. It's like
Hmm.
you gotta decide on your own whether you want to really try to be your best. But when you have someone guiding you to do that and like telling you that you're definitely better than what you're doing right now, it's helpful.
So what are your plans post high school? Where are you off to next fall?
Actually going to Washington and Jefferson for mechanical engineering and actually to play football instead of basketball.
That's awesome. Well, hey, if you ever need any help with that first year engineering math homework, feel free to give me a shout since we now know how to use Zoom, right?
Uh-huh.
Distance learning at its finest. All right. Well, hold on. I'm going to stop recording then.